Welcome back to the 2023 Rock and Roll Denim NFR pre-show podcast. I'm your host, Dale Brisby, your mom's favorite bull rider and Joe Rogan's best friend, the world's greatest of all time and the most humble. And we're going to go into some stories of some of these contestants that are going to be competing at the National Finals Rodeo. And when they compete, they're going to be wearing, you guessed it, rock and roll denim. What's this guy's name?
Bernard.
Bernard.
My name's Bernard.
Shad Money Mayfield is in the house. Tell me about your year so far, my man.
Man, it was a up and down year. It came out to be pretty good. Heading into my fifth NFR, going into the final second. Had a lot of big wins this year during the year, and every year I try to set a big goal, to win more than I did last year, and I did that this year. So felt achieved to get that done and not finish until the NFR is over with.
How old are you now?
I'm 22, about to be 23.
That is so wild.
It is
to think about. 5 NFRs.
I'm getting old.
You've lived so much life for a 22-year-old.
That's what I say.
I mean, do you feel like you've been a lot of miles?
I feel 40. I say that every day when I wake up. I feel old. When I get in that driver's seat, I'm like, And people are like, you're 22. And I say, yeah, but I feel 40.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ever since I was turned 18, you hit the road. So you learn a lot. You do a whole lot of things. You see a lot of things. So I'd say I've had a lot of experience for my age.
Yeah, well, that's undeniable.
Yeah.
One of the questions we were asking Sage Kimsey, you and him, I think, are in a similar situation. Like you had a lot of success early on, and it's continued. But what were you doing leading up to 18 that set you up to have the career you've had thus far?
Yeah, no one really sees that coming up to what I am now. But, I set out when I was a little kid, roping, that was all I wanted to do. I didn't have nothing to fall back on, this is what I have to do. This is what I'm going to have to make work. So, I mean, me and my whole family, we invested everything we had into rodeo. And ever since I was a little kid, I always had a rope in my hand, always be roping the dummy. I'd be in the practice pen no matter what the weather be like. I wanted to win and I wanted to be successful. So I put in the work, and being at home watching the NFR on TV, I knew that's always where I wanted to be. I wanted to be one of those top guys in the sport of calf roping. And we set out to do that, and my dad helped me do that. He pushed me. I mean, we grinded every day. Every weekend we'd be at a roping. And, we're from New Mexico, so we'd drive 5, 6, 7 hours every weekend to go to a roping and rope against – it didn't matter who. I mean, we'd rope against them. And I remember roping in my first big open rope when I was 15 years old and got my butt kicked, and that's when I kind of set out that I needed to be better. And, it was a learning experience for me to get better. And from then on, when I turned like 16, I was hanging right in there with the pro guys. And, it takes a lot. Not really many people see that.
What were some significant moments like in those younger years when you think back? Like, it sounds like that's one of them.
Yeah.
Taking the L at 15, it's crazy that, the loss is one of the things that you remember. But what are some other moments like that early on that helped shape you and move you?
Honestly, I had a whole lot of success in the National Junior High and National High School Rodeo Associations. I feel like that set me up a lot for where I am now. I used to rodeo in New Mexico junior high, and you go to the National Junior High Rodeo Finals Rodeo, and I remember the first one I went to was in Gallup, New Mexico, and like all 50 states, they come and that's like a huge accomplishment, and that's like the first big stage I'd ever been on. They got the big screen, they got all the cameras, everyone in the stands. Like, that's where you it really hits you. Like, wow, this is what it feels like. You get nervous, and I think that's what kind of paved the path to want to be able to do pro rodeo and stuff like that, because I like that. I like those moments. I like being nervous. That feeling is what drives me to be better. And I feel like the success I had in the junior high and high school ranks is kind of what helped me a lot in where I am now.
Yeah. So I know you've joked about it. Maybe you weren't joking about getting on a bull.
Yeah.
Was that something that has like crossed your mind before?
I used to be a bull rider.
Okay.
Bull riding was like what I wanted to do.
Okay.
That's what I set out to do. This was before the time I wanted to be a calf roper. So take it back, way back then.
Way back. We're taking it way back,
watching
y'all.
the NFR in the living room. I'd wait till the bull riding started. You know, bull riding's at the end because no one even likes to watch it or whatever.
Yeah, that's why
So
it's at the end.
It's like past my bedtime, I'd sneak out bed, you know, get in the living room, and I'd get on my little bull and I'd ride the bull while they were riding bulls. I mean, that's what I wanted to do. And I go to junior rodeo associations. I started out mutton busting, then I do the calf riding, and then 12 and under steer riding, and then I entered the 13 and 15 steer riding. But it wasn't steer riding; it was bull riding because the steers had nuts.
Yeah.
So that ain't no steer; that's a bull.
Right.
So I got on this big old sucker one time at this rodeo association's finals, and I'm winning it going in, and this bull got me against the chute and stepped on my chest.
Ooh.
Knocked the air out of me. Then it kind of scared me. And after that, I said, I'm going to be a calf roper.
Yeah.
And that was it for my bull riding career.
What bull riders were you watching? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. J.B. Mooney. I mean, I used to play the little video game, you know, where the bull riding PBR video game way back then. Watch the bull bodacious. You know, J.B. Mooney was the man. Guillermo Marchi. Yeah. All those guys. I was a big bull rider fan. And I'm too tall now, so I can't be a major bull rider, but I can still ride.
Yeah. I got some at the house. I think you know might need to go head to head with some of the Winnebago Buckers.
Yeah, I mean, if you think they get me off, we could try. But I don't
let me show you a
think
video of this one. I think you'd like this one. We call him Sail Barn because
my feet would probably drag the ground on it.
Because
I think I seen this one when you bought at the Sail Barn the other day.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you got him.
Well, yeah, I'll try it.
I mean, I'm not gonna hold you to it.
Well, let's not flank him.
Okay, he's getting better and better, but that he did come from the Sail Barn.
Let's ace him.
Okay,
let's ace him and flank him, and I'll ride.
Ace him, not flank him.
No, we can flank him with the ace.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it right.
Now, when we're talking about, for those of you out there, ace, it's just kind of like, I don't know, a muscle relaxer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not going to really affect. It might as well not even give it to him, but we're going to.
It's just going to knock the edge so it isn't going to hurt me in the chute.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, if you feel like having a cocktail before a conversation that's kind of what, if they're a little nervous.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, some would say a performance enhancer.
Yeah, it could be that.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, have you ever thought about team roping? Or had you ever team roped?
I team rope all the time. Not very many people know this, but on one side of my family, Jake Barnes is my cousin.
Oh, dang. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a 7-time world champion header. He roped with Junior, so.
Dang.
Team roping, I always team rope too coming up, but I like to calf rope. You know, on my off time, I team rope. I go to the Cinch timed event in Guthrie there in the February where you do the steer roping, bulldogging, head heel, calf rope, and all that. So I like to do all the events, but right now I just focus on calf roping.
As you should.
Yep.
Right, as you should. Yeah, I feel like we were talking about that. Me and Jess Pope were talking about that in another one of these podcasts where, the multi-event Cowboys are it's just a special breed of person.
It's a lot. Like props to Trevor Brazil. You know, doing all that, that's crazy. I mean, I get at the timed event where you just got to do this event, this and that. I mean, it's hard doing that then. I can't imagine going all year rodeoing, having to keep this horse here, there's entering rodeos trying to do all that, keep your partner in line. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
Stetson ride, I mean, handling 2 events. I mean, I couldn't do it. I mean, that's why I'm trying to master what I have going on now. And maybe when I get older, I'll probably start steer roping and team roping too.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, cool deal. What? How do you feel about this year's NFR going into it?
I feel awesome. Been working out every day, roping every day. As I get older in my older age, I've been focusing on my body a whole lot more. Yes, I've been focusing on my body more, taking care of my body, eating right, getting more flexible, all those things that old people do. So, yeah, I feel good going into this finals.
Cool. Well, that's fun to hear you talk about that being 22. But 5 NFRs, that's a lot of life. Chris Ledoux said it's not the years, it's the miles.
Yep.
And Shad Mayfield is the epitome of that because
Exactly.
you go a lot of miles going to an NFR, much less 5 of them. And, I tell interns that come into my program, you got to be at least 21. But I get some 21, 22, 23-year-olds that come in, and they just have not lived a lot of life, and they haven't been down the road. And that's okay. It's not their fault. I mean, it's just the nature of – that's – a lot of them are above average, and it's still pretty green, especially compared to yourself just driving all over the country, starting at age 18. So what's maybe a piece of advice that your dad gave you that you've leaned on this year?
I get advice from him all the time, and usually it's not very easy advice to hear, but, just don't let anybody get in your head. No one can beat you but yourself. That's the best advice he's ever told me and I feel like it's true, is that no one can beat you but yourself. And if I go somewhere and I don't win or something, I don't say that I got beat or someone beat me necessarily. I think it was myself that got in my own head and beat me. So.
Well, we're cheering for you. It's great to have you back this year. See you at this NFR, Rock and Roll Denim NFR podcast pre-show. And have a good one this year, my man.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Last question. What's your favorite pair of Rock and Roll denims?
Jeans or shirt?
Yeah.
I've actually switched to the stackable boot cut.
Nice.
I like it because I changed my boots up, and I think it's the coolest style. And also the new Huey jean is kind of my favorite. I like that new style.
Sweet. Well, good deal, my man. Good luck this year at the NFR,
Appreciate
even though we know you don't need the luck.
Luck goes a long way.
Pow, pow.